In one corner stands Bill Maher, comedian, skeptic, and relentless critic of religion. Known for his sharp wit and fearless commentary, Maher has made a career out of questioning the status quo and poking holes in sacred institutions. He uses humor and logic as his weapons, challenging deeply held beliefs and encouraging audiences to think critically. For Maher, doubt isn't just healthy, it's essential, a tool for uncovering uncomfortable truths and exposing contradictions. Maher's style is direct, provocative, and unapologetically secular. He doesn't shy away from controversy, often embracing it as a way to spark conversation and push boundaries. In the other corner, we find Gordon B. Hinckley, president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. A man revered by millions, Hinckley was a symbol of faith and stability for his followers. Revered as a prophet, Hinckley was calm, gentle, and unwavering in his faith. His presence radiated warmth and reassurance, and he inspired trust through his humility and kindness. His life was built on spiritual conviction and service, not skepticism. For Hinckley, faith was a foundation, something to be nurtured, protected, and shared through acts of compassion and leadership. When Maher and Hinckley met, it was more than just an interview. It was a cultural clash, a meeting of two worlds: faith versus skepticism, tradition versus inquiry. Maher brought pointed questions and biting sarcasm. Hinckley responded with testimony, patience, and quiet confidence. Each man stood firmly in his worldview, unshaken by the other's approach. Their dialogue exposed a deep divide in how people seek truth. Logic and evidence on one side, prayer and revelation on the other. It was a conversation that revealed not just personal beliefs, but entire philosophies of life. Maher's world rewards those who challenge tradition and question authority. Hinckley's world values preserving tradition and honoring the wisdom of the past. One deconstructs, the other builds up. Their approaches are fundamentally different, yet both are driven by a search for meaning. Their backgrounds shaped every word. Maher, the entertainer and critic; Hinckley, the spiritual leader and builder. Each brought a lifetime of experience to the table, coloring every exchange. This encounter set the stage for a revealing exploration of belief, doubt, and the human need for answers. Understanding their opposing paths is key to understanding their perspectives, and perhaps our own. The conversation wasn't just about Mormonism. It was about how we all approach life's biggest questions and what we're willing to accept as truth. Two men, two worldviews, one unforgettable exchange. Their meeting invites us to reflect on our own beliefs and the forces that shape them. The stage was set for a battle of ideas, one that would leave a lasting impression on all who witnessed it. Maher's brand is skepticism. He questions everything, especially religion. His approach is sharp, often irreverent, and he's unafraid to challenge even the most sacred beliefs in public forums. He treats religious stories as narratives to be dissected, not revered. For Maher, these tales are puzzles to be solved, not truths to be accepted without scrutiny. For Maher, beliefs must withstand logic or be dismissed. If a claim can't survive tough questioning, he sees little reason to accept it, no matter how cherished it may be. Hinckley, by contrast, wasn't there to debate, but to testify. His purpose was to share conviction, not to win arguments or score points. Calm and optimistic, he answered criticism with gentle affirmation, not argument. Hinckley's responses reflected a deep-rooted faith and a desire to uplift rather than to confront. Maher's stage was built for confrontation, Hinckley's for reassurance. The settings themselves mirrored their intentions, one designed for spectacle, the other for comfort and hope. The interview magnified their differences. Maher controlled the conversation, Hinckley responded with dignity. Each man played his role, never straying from his core values. Maher aimed to expose what he saw as the oddities of Mormonism, pressing for answers to questions others might avoid. Hinckley aimed to show its goodness and practical value, highlighting the positive impact of faith on individuals and communities. Their audiences expected different things, entertainment versus reverence. Maher's viewers wanted provocation and wit. Hinckley's followers sought inspiration and peace. Maher dug into doctrine. Hinckley focused on faith's fruits. One probed for inconsistencies, the other pointed to lived experience and service. The clash wasn't just personal, it was a collision of missions. Each man represented not just himself, but a broader worldview and purpose. Each man embodied his worldview, and neither was likely to be swayed. Their exchange became a microcosm of a much larger debate, one that continues far beyond the studio lights. To understand the debate, you need the basics of Mormonism. This faith, often called the LDS Church, is one of the fastest-growing Christian movements in the world, with millions of members across continents. Its beliefs and practices are unique and often misunderstood by outsiders. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints claims to restore the original Church of Christ, believing that their teachings and organization mirror what Jesus established during his ministry. Members believe that after the death of the apostles, true authority was lost from the earth, and that it was restored through a young man named Joseph Smith in the 1800s in upstate New York. Smith's first vision, where he claimed to see God the Father and Jesus Christ, and his translation of the Book of Mormon from golden plates, are foundational events for the faith. These stories are central to Mormon identity and are taught from a young age. Mormons believe in God, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Ghost as three separate beings, not one entity, and place a strong emphasis on the idea of eternal families, believing that family relationships can last beyond death. Distinctive practices include abstaining from alcohol, tobacco, coffee, and tea, following a health code called the Word of Wisdom. This is seen as a way to honor their bodies as gifts from God. The church is led by a prophet, assisted by 12 apostles, all believed to receive direct revelation from God to guide the church in modern times. It's a lay church. Local leaders aren't paid, and members volunteer their time to serve in various roles, fostering a strong sense of community and shared responsibility. Living prophets like Gordon B. Hinckley are central to the faith, providing guidance and inspiration to millions of followers worldwide. These beliefs and practices set Mormonism apart from other Christian denominations and draw both deep devotion from members and sharp criticism from others. For critics like Bill Maher, the idea of modern prophets and continuing revelation is especially contentious, fueling ongoing debate about the nature of faith and authority in religion. Maher wasted no time. He targeted Mormonism's most controversial points. He questioned Joseph Smith's golden plates, likening the story to science fiction. He pressed Hinckley on polygamy, using it to challenge the church's moral foundation. Maher highlighted doctrines like God's physical body and mocked sacred temple garments, framing them as oddities. He questioned the very idea of modern prophets, probing Hinckley about revelation. Maher's approach was relentless, aiming to make faith sound implausible to a secular audience. His skepticism was sharp, leaving Hinckley to defend the indefensible, or so it seemed. Hinckley met Maher's skepticism with calm conviction. He didn't argue evidence, he simply bore testimony. "I believe it. Faith," he said, "is discovered through spiritual means, not scientific proof." On polygamy, Hinckley acknowledged the past but focused on the church's present values. When Maher mocked sacred beliefs, Hinckley responded with dignity, explaining their meaning without defensiveness. He described revelation as quiet inspiration, not daily conversations with God. Hinckley's humility and sincerity reframed the debate, inviting respect, if not agreement. His defense was faith itself, offered without apology. The core conflict: reason versus revelation. Maher demands evidence. For him, faith without proof is delusion. Hinckley sees faith as a different kind of evidence: personal, spiritual, transformative. Maher trusts the scientific method. Hinckley trusts spiritual witness. Is there middle ground? Not on doctrine, but perhaps in mutual respect. Maher might concede the positive impact of Mormon community. Hinckley showed a willingness to engage, even with critics. The real question: how do we decide what's true? Is truth only what can be measured, or is there room for faith and personal conviction? In the end, each of us must choose where to place our trust: logic, faith, or both.